Hey traders, John Howell here. Today I want to give you a bit of a big picture view of why I believe there is actually a double dip recession coming. A double dip, right? That means there's two major crashes in our economy, stock markets, gold, silver, coming over the next decade. So the next 10 years, I believe there's two major ones. I'm going to share with you why when it comes to interest rates, when it comes to the inflation, what to expect, why I come to this conclusion, and what you can do to not only prepare for what is coming, but also benefit from this from when the first crash comes, when I believe the big first crash comes, and then the second one, which is going to absolutely devastate so many people out there. And I want to share with you all the details to this about what I believe are going to be the best investments, what am I focusing on, how the cycles are going to play out, what you should be focusing on and listening for to know when to hit to go in hard with these markets, and so much more. So let's get straight into it, guys. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video, because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty, so I have a lot of stuff I want to cover with you today, guys. So I want to start off with a big picture analysis of what I see coming, okay? Obviously, we all know, you and I know, there is something big coming when it comes to a recession, right? We know that having these high interest rates where we are right now, as I'm doing this video, is slowly causing pressure, especially on the bottom 50%, right? The top 50%, it's okay, especially the top 20% or top 10%, they're doing fine. But it's the major ones below, right? There's cracks slowly happening underneath the surface, which is causing things to happen, right? So we know where we are right now. There's going to come a cracking point. And if you read Ray Dalio's Big Debt Crisis, you'll be able to see that we're slowly starting to get that now, all right? So I do truly believe that over the next, say, probably maybe 12 months, I do believe probably into next year, we're going to start to really be in the thick of what I believe is going to be a recession there, right? And so one of the big things that, so that's the first thing I do see. Now, here's the thing, okay, traders. If I'm trying to if I put the dots together, the next big crash that's coming, it's going to be a crash. What do we know for sure that is going to happen? They're going to print a lot of money, right? So this double dip recession that's coming, the first crash that comes in the next 1 to 2 years, we never know exactly when it's going to form, right? Now I can actually help you when it comes to understanding the stock market crashes and so on and so forth. I've done trainings in the past when it comes to, there are things in the chart to show you we're starting to go into a bear market, into a crash. But for this video here, what's probably likely going to happen, or what I believe is going to happen, is that they're going to print a lot of money again, right? History. If you listen to Mike Maloney's stuff, Hidden Secrets of Money, if you read Ray Dalio's stuff about understanding histories, economies, governments, spending, and so on and so forth, you know they're going to come out and print a lot more money, right? So, but when are they going to do that? They're going to do that what? When they really need to come up with this big bang. Now, I guess the reason why the stock market is still going up right now is what? Because they haven't stopped printing money, have they? They're still they're still putting money. Now, it's not a big bang, but they're still printing a lot of money right now. And that's why I believe that not only that, but there's a lot of money in the sidelines. That's the reason why the stock market is still going up right now. And we are getting into bubble territory. I don't believe it's going to crash right now. I believe for the rest of this year, we're going to be in a very big bullish environment in the overall stock market. And I believe gold and silver are going to follow along with that for the rest of this year. But then I see 2025 being, get ready, right? But remember, guys, it's not an actual bad thing, right? Think about when the market goes down. I love stock market crashes. Some of my most successful trades, where we're talking about trades that can achieve up to like 1,000% return. utilizing the strategy that I use and the options. You know, traders, that first thing in the description, I'm giving away a free trading course. The very first video you get after registering for the free course, I email you a free course, but the very first video you get is actually a 25-minute training walking you through my strategy that I use in bull markets and also in bear markets. So when the market does start to crash, utilize that strategy. I teach you for free and how to benefit from that. And I even show you the exact setups that can potentially get up to 1,000% return in a crash, so you can be well prepared to benefit from that as well too, right? So just go get the help you need. It's free. First link in the description there, guys. So I believe we're going to start to go through that. But and again, like don't be afraid of that, right? We don't want to be afraid of it. Like why? We know we can. If you don't know, you can actually make a lot of money when the market goes down. In fact, when the market does go down, it goes down quickly, right? So when that happens, if you can be on the right side of that, you can really benefit from that next major crash. Unfortunately, if you don't know what you're actually looking for in a high quality setup, in a bull market or even in a bear market, again, that first link in the description, the first video you get, I teach you exactly what to look for. You're in a bull market right now, I show you the strategy I use. In a bear market, I show you the strategy I use, right? When you start to identify these A quality setups, you can do really well. So we do know that there's going to be another major recession coming, and they're going to print a lot of money. Right, when they print a lot of money, there's going to be a reflation of things to come, right? And then there's going to be a massive reflation. Why? Because if you look at through history, right? What does history actually tell us? History actually tells us that that government is going to come out and do a lot bigger round of, like, if you thought COVID was big, if you look at it, every single one is much bigger than the one before, right? So there's going to be there's going to be a really big bang of QE. Now, if history gives that a pretty much 100% certainty that that's going to happen, there's a cause-effect relationship, right? So the effect is, or the result is massive QE. But if they're going to have to do massive QE, the cause to make that happen is what? We all know if they're going to come out and do a much bigger QE, that means things are really, really, really doing badly at that time, right? If they're going to come out and do massive amounts of QE to really try to stabilize the economy, stabilize markets, and so on and so forth. Makes sense? You with me so far? So if we give this, if there's 100% certainty in looking at trends that they're going to do a massive amount of QE again, then that tells us that things are really bad at that time. Markets, economy, so on and so forth. Makes sense, right? So therefore, that tells me that next crash that's coming, guess what? It's going to be pretty bad. But then I believe the second crash coming, which I'll get to in a minute, which is probably going to be later this decade, probably early next decade. That's when it's going to just completely just devastate so many people out there. But this first crash that's coming, that's what I see coming there, right? So the first thing is that don't be afraid of it. Get well prepared, get well educated, and all that simply means is that understand what you're looking for in the markets, right? Understand what a really good trading setup looks like. So as we're in a bear market, as this thing is coming down, know how to identify really good trading opportunities to benefit from the bear market, right? Like, I love crashes. I'm actually looking forward to the recession. I know that sounds really bad, but I love crashes. I remember trading back, guys, with the '08 crash. Prior to that, for a few years prior to that, I was trading the bull market and I did okay. And then suddenly, like, my entire return through 2008 jumped like 300-400%. So what I made prior to that every year, I think it was like 2005, 2006, 2007, in that bull market leading up to the bear market in 2008. I forget exactly what the number was, but I do remember that, that I went from, I forget exactly what the number was. I'm trying to think about the number right now, but I know that it went 300% to 400% more income in 2008 than I did in those years. So I love bear markets. I love crashes because crashes allow you to benefit from that. So, but then also when they do, if you understand the bear market and the crash that's coming, you can trade that. But then also when you're listening for them to come out and do the big bang, right? The big QE, guess what? Massive reflation that's coming, right? And so this is the first part here. Understanding that, 1, don't be afraid of it. 2, understand what you're looking for. And again, 3, if you do know how to trade a bear market in the setups, then it's like you're actually looking for it, right? You're actually waiting for it. Me, I'm waiting for it. I'm not necessarily waiting for it, but I do believe I'm in a situation where I can't wait for it, right? But I'm still trading a bull market and I'm still trading the other setups there. So that's the first thing I do see. Now, if you have a look at one of the big things, one of the big things on the back of what we see through here is the inflation, right? So this is what you're looking at right now is the inflation data, and one of the big things you see when it comes to the inflation data is what you see that every time we have inflation problems since the 1925 period, right, which is basically the last 100 years, every time we've had, there's an inflationary problem and there's an inflationary problem, right? So if we look at the last 100 years, what has been the common theme around these inflationary problems? So the purpose of this video here, guys, is just so you're well prepared, right? That's all, right? So when the crash does come, maybe next year, and things get really bad, you're like, I was waiting for, I knew this was coming. Now, a lot of people that are not preparing themselves by learning the proper systems, strategies, guidance, processes, and money management, and so on and so forth, trade management, letting your profits run, stuff like that. Those people who are not learning how to do this properly are going to probably get destroyed maybe next year in the big crash, right? But when it comes down to this inflation, what is the big common theme? The big common theme is that this one right here, this is number one spike, this is number two spike, and number two spike is always higher than the first spike. This is here. So the 40s was a problem. We had them 70s. We all know the 70 inflationary problem, right? So 70 inflationary problem is what? First spike, and the second spike is always higher. So if history is going to repeat, which that's what we do if history is going to repeat, then we're probably going to go through another inflationary spike. What's going to cause that inflationary spike? Massive QE. Why would they do massive QE? Because things are turning to shit. You see what I'm saying here, right? We start to put the dots together. Like, okay, here's some things that have happened in the last 100 years, and when we go through these inflationary problems, this is probably what's likely to happen again. Okay, if that's going to happen again, which is a secondary spike, we already had what? We already had our first spike, and the secondary spike, I believe, could be back up here at 18-20% up here, right? We get this sort of move coming up through here. Now, what's going to cause that, right? If there's going to be a secondary spike, which is much bigger, it's QE. That QE is going to be massive, right, to cause that inflationary spike, if all things are equal. Why are they going to do that? Because there's a major crash coming, right? Now, major crash, 12 months or so, they come in, they support it, major inflation. And then what happens then, right? And then what happens then is we see things go through just big move. And I believe on that side of things, I believe the beneficiary after they do the big QE, right, which might be around, say, 26 period. So 2026 period, they may start to do that. Maybe even next year, they may start to do that as well too, to come in. The big beneficiary, I believe, out of all that is going to be the metals and miners, right? I believe the mining sector itself is one of those markets that it's just, to me, it's a common sense, right? Think about this. When was the last mining boom? 10 years ago. So we've had 10 years of no mining boom. What's going to happen in the next 10 years? Just from simple stock analysis. We're going to go through another mining boom, right? It's not like we're never, ever going to go through another mining boom. So do you see what I'm saying here, right? So it's like, okay, mining boom. And then if you see the inflationary problems, you saw what happened to silver and gold back in the 70s where they just absolutely just went crazy. So to me, where I want to be positioned myself, and again, guys, this is now trading strategy, how do I benefit from this bull market right now, and then the bear market when it happens, but then how do I position myself and know that over 2025 and 2026, as I'm watching this thing unfold, where can I get ready to place my positions where I can see just an incredible bull market? These cycles tell me that the metals and miners are going to be the beneficiary factor there. Now, by the way, guys, yes, everything will get hit in the crash. Gold, silver will go down, mining stocks will go down, stock market will go down, crypto will go down. Right? Everything will go down, right, in the crash that's coming. But the reflation, which is after they do the QE, which might be 2026, I see from, say, 2027, 2028, 2029, that 3-year period being an incredible, we're talking like life-changing results. And if you're prepared for that, and you start to do some really amazing strategies, maybe like some long-dated options, all right, to get the leverage. Maybe you just want to buy some really good stocks. Like I just see that inflation, that reflation, along with we know that over the next 10 years there's going to be another mining boom, right? Because it's common sense, right? It's like no boom in the mining sector for the last 10 years. And then guess what? And then now we go through another mining boom over the next 10 years. Right. And so then I do see a big reflation, but I believe 2025, guys, is going to be it's going to be a really big down year. And I always say that, those who are preparing themselves right now, right? Really, really, really preparing themselves how to trade these markets properly, not just guessing or gambling or hoping or wishing. Let's actually build a good, solid foundation, right? And that's exactly what my coaching program is all about. You're with me every single day, and I've just opened up a 6-month intensive coaching program. So for the next 6 months, you are really dialed in, right? You're learning the strategy, the system, the strategy, the money management, how to cut your losses short, how to let your wins run, how to handle some losing periods so you don't blow up your account, and so much more. If you are interested in that second link description there, guys, that's going to take you to the application form. Fill out the application form, and I will call you to see if you are a good fit for that. But the whole big thing is, guys, is people who really understand these things, and people who understand not only from a trading perspective, but from an investment perspective, are going to do so well this next decade. If you start to see the cycles of how these things are going to play out with what I'm talking about here, which is the first crash that's coming probably next year, when that happens, how do you actually trade that to generate some really good income next year as the market's crashing? And then as the market's crashing, then you're going to listen out for the big QE. And when that happens, the reflation is going to be what? Probably metals and miners, because we know the mining sector is due for another big bull market. Now, a big bull market, takes many years to unfold, right? It takes 1 to 2 years to unfold. The big bull market may have already started right now in the mining sector, right? Because everything takes time, right? We go up for a few months. We go back, we have a pullback for a month or two, then we go for another 6 bull month market. You know what I mean? Like that's what is a bull market. From there, makes sense. So that's what I see. And again, guys, that along with investments is what I see. And then people who trade these markets, even if you don't do the investment side of things, I believe that the way you trade the markets is going to be so powerful, because there's going to be so many amazing this next decade, guys. If you know what you are doing and you know what to look for in a good setup, is going to be one of the greatest trading times ever for the rest of this decade. But the volatility, the booms and the busts and the ups and the downs, once you know how to identify some amazing setup, guys, you really, really, really can. Now, all I do say, guys, is that one, I teach you my trading setup in that free course, which is the very first video you get, first link in the description. Secondly, if you don't know how to trade these markets profitably and you're guessing, you're wishing, you're hoping, and you're trying to do it by yourself, then don't, right? Get the help you need. And that's what I'm here for, right? That's that second link in the description there. Go apply for coaching for the next 6 months. I'll be with you every single day the market's open, for sometimes up to a couple of hours per day. You'll be able to join my small group of people that are with me, and I'll be able to help you from that, right? And if you don't, all I do say is that I truly believe if you don't know what you're looking for and don't know how to trade these markets successfully, I believe there's going to be at least $1 million worth of opportunities that's going to pass you by because you don't know what you're actually looking for. It's going to be amazing high quality trades. It's going to be at least $1 million worth of opportunities for the rest of this decade, just across all these markets, cryptos, stocks, commodity prices. There's going to be some amazing opportunities, all because one, you don't understand these markets. Two, you don't know how to actually properly be a professional about these markets, about risk management, trade management, and then also trade selection as well too, right? So if you are on the sidelines, second link in the description there, guys, fill out the application form, and I personally will call you at the time you actually book the call. But don't let this pass you by, guys, right? Now, that's the first part there. The second part. Let's actually talk about now again. Let's actually use the cycle analysis on the back of the inflation, right? So the inflation had the inflation data, what? First spike, then the first spike, and after first spike, we go down through here, which is what? Caused a recession. Then we had a big spike. First spike, big pullback after the first spike, which caused the recession. Away we go. First spike, come down through here. We're going to get that, and away we go. Now, think about this for a minute, okay? If the inflation does do the secondary spike, and it's much bigger, right? Much bigger, which as you can see through history, that's a history thing of what actually happens in the past. If that does happen, on the back of what? The crash, which causes the printing of money, which causes the secondary spike, right? We all know that's what happened from there. Okay? What's going to happen to interest rates then? Think about this, right? So right now, the government is under a lot of pressure when it comes to their payments, right? That's why they're trying to update taxes and all that type of bullshit. What's going to happen to interest rates at that time? If you think interest rates got high right now, wait till you see the 2030s or the 2029 period, or 2030, 2031 period. Because if you think interest rates are high now to try to combat the inflation, what are they going to do when maybe the inflationary spike is up at 18% again? Or at least double what we got from the inflation. What's going to happen to the interest rates? Now, with that view in mind, and again, this is where like understanding and being smart about the way that you're viewing this next 5 years, because preparation is the big key for the opportunities for both from trading and understanding the cycles and then investments, right? This is what this is all about. When that happens, what's going to happen to the government debt? It's game over, right? Once it's game over, what does that mean? It's going to get really bad, right? We're going to see huge unemployment rate. It's going to be another depression, right? We're talking about like the 1930s was the depression. And it's interesting, right? It seems like things are cycling away. Things are cycling through the same sort of situation, right? A big boom into 1929 and then the 1929-1930 crash, which led us into what? The depression. So I see there's going to be a crash coming next year, which is going to reflate another big massive boom. And then in the 30s, what happens when, again, the interest rates are so much higher? Government, game over. That's when probably massive wars are going to happen. That's when Great Depression is going to happen. That's what we're going to see. Like, that's what I truly believe we're going to see one of the greatest property market drops in, call it maybe a crash, the greatest property crash in history, just because of the the spike in interest rates, right? Especially here in Australia, where you can't actually fix it for 30 years. What's going to happen then? And so when that all happens, what are you doing to make sure your backside is protected? How do you actually protect it from that there, right? And this is where understanding, the markets and understand trading and cycle analysis and so on and so forth. And I truly believe, guys, like when we're talking like how do you protect yourself, I truly believe when the crash does happen next year, everything's going to get hit. Gold, silver, mining stocks, stock market, economies, employment rate go up, so on and so forth, right? But then I truly believe on the reflation, we're going to see probably gold hit maybe 10 or 20,000. Silver, mining stocks. There's going to be a lot of protective mechanisms where you can actually be part of that to protect it from the value of these currencies around the world, right? And so from that, you can really protect yourself. So as this thing is unfolding, right? But again, that all takes time from there. So that's when the Great Depression is going to hit, and that's when I believe it's going to be like ushering in the new world order, right? There's going to be a new power. Is it China? Is it someone else? Right? And through history, you see this happening, right? So for me personally, what I'm doing is sharing with you what I'm seeing, so I know how to protect myself. So come 2030s, when the shit is hitting the fan, I think if we're going to see one of the greatest stock market crashes in history come in the 30s, then guess what? Bring it on. Why? Because once you know how to trade the markets once again, you can do really well. Even if the value of the currency and all that sort of stuff and the debt defaults, if you know how to make a lot of money, if you know how to trade really, really, really well, that even in the big drop, you'll be able to do really well, right? And there's going to be a lot of opportunities from there. So a lot of people are focusing on the cryptocurrencies, guys, but I truly believe the silent horse around this is the metals and miners. But just understand the cycles we're in right now and what to look for And based off what we're seeing through here, through interest rates, through inflation, this is the reason why I see a massive double dip stock market crash coming, and how to actually protect yourself from that from there. And the bottom line is, guys, is that even if you don't know how to invest properly, now investing is buying, holding for long term. I truly believe over the next, from now through the end of the year, there's going to be so many amazing opportunities when it comes to trading opportunities, right? That are going to have such, because we're going to see massive swings. We know that, right? The election, the coming recession, and the booms and the busts, and there's going to be so many amazing opportunities. And if you're laying down the foundational work right now, and you're spending the next 6 or so months, 6 to 12 months, really starting to get a good understanding of what a good setup looks like, how to actually trade the market professionally, you are going to see so many amazing opportunities, and you are going to be the 1%er. Unfortunately, most people out there are going to not do anything right now, and maybe not even put their head in the sand about what's coming. But when all this shit hits the fan, the people who are going to be left with nothing are going to be those who relied on the big G and and all that sort of stuff. And that's why I just say, guys, just like, I want you to protect yourself, and I want you to be prepared. And if you are, because again, guys, once you know what to look for in a high quality setup, like what I call my A+ setup, then it's game over from there. So anyway, traders, hope this helps you out. Leave a comment in the section below. Let me know what you think about what I've said here and why I believe this is coming. I'll be really, really interested to see what you think. And once again, traders, if you really do need some help, then you might be good for my 6-month intensive coaching program, where you're with me every day with the markets open for at least an hour. And you may be good for that. That's second link in the description there, guys. Click on that, fill out that application form, and I'll call you to see if you're a good fit. See you, traders.